Right, away from the Euros, it is the unofficial transfer deadline day for Premier League clubs because it's the final day where transfer fees received count towards last season's PSR rules. Mark McAdam is here with us. Mark, good to see you again. Look, developments regarding, firstly, we'll talk about Chelsea and Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall from Leicester. What's happening with that one?
Yeah, this is a deal that we've been speaking about over the course of the weekend, and news that we brought you in the last hour on Sky Sports News that there has been a deal agreed between Chelsea and Leicester City for the 25-year-old. We understand the package to be worth £30 million. He's now been given permission to travel to London to have his medical. This is a deal that is without question going to help Leicester City and their PSR because they are sailing close to the wind, shall we say, with regards to meeting the financial credentials that the Premier League put in place on the Premier League clubs. In the opposite direction, Michael Golding will be going from Chelsea to Leicester, young 18-year-old midfielder, someone exciting, obviously not played a lot of first-team football, so a big opportunity for him. But yeah, this is one of those deals where we're seeing a swap between two sides, Leicester and Chelsea here, but Chelsea clearly getting a player they like. Obviously, Enzo Maresca knows all about Dewsbury-Hall, having worked with him in Leicester City's promotion from the Championship last season, and of course, be linking up with a player, so he'll know exactly what he's getting. And I think you get the sense this is when you've got a manager who knows the player, who knows how he trains, knows his strengths. It makes the deal a lot easier to make happen, and this is certainly what we've got here. So yeah, one to keep an eye on, but he's heading to London for his medical now.
This clip here, you can see the position of Dewsbury-Hall. You can see him occupying that left half space position at the tips of the midfield box that Maresca used to try and employ at Leicester. His position of coming deep short to receive the ball to create those overloads and actually offering some attacking threat by running beyond the striker when the striker drops deep makes him to be so unpredictable. And actually, this is one of the positions that I was wondering how Chelsea could fill, and actually Chelsea managed to fill this position. Now, before we start our analysis, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. So Maresca, to implement his system at Chelsea, I was always asking myself, who's going to fill the left half space position? I even placed Caicedo there, I've placed Enzo there, but Maresca seems to have his perfect signing for that position. Remember, Maresca's system involves building with a 3-2, meaning that one fullback inverts to play alongside a holding midfielder, while the other inverts at the backline to form a back three. But this 3-2 system ensures that he has two attacking tens, of which the right-hand side will be taken by Cole Palmer, but the left-hand side will now be taken by Lewis Dewsbury-Hall. Now, when you look at Dewsbury-Hall, in this position, he looks to start in that left side of a midfield three, or he can also start as the number 10 in a 4-2-3-1 kind of system. Now, Dewsbury-Hall is a very intelligent player. We know Maresca wants his wingers to start out high and wide and to give the team width, meaning that once they start high and wide, what will happen is that the striker will move into a position whereby he will occupy the two center backs and play in between them, ensuring that the center backs play closer to him. But now the fullbacks will be tasked to actually start in a slight wider position to try and cover the two wingers. Now this opens up spaces between the fullbacks and the center backs, and these spaces are known as the half spaces. And these positions are now to be occupied by two players, with Dewsbury-Hall being the one to occupy the left one. Now, Dewsbury-Hall, being a left footer, plays in this position, similar position that David Silva used to play for Manchester City and Ilkay Gundogan. Now, in this position, he gives that 2v1 overload against the fullback. I remember telling you that Enzo Fernandez, when tasked to play this position, likes to drop deep a lot. But Dewsbury-Hall understands this position. When you look at the 3-2 structure that Leicester is building with, you can see at the tip of the box, you can see Dewsbury-Hall down the left and Wilfred Ndidi down the right. So having Dewsbury-Hall in this left half space position is a player who already understands the role. He understands the position. So he's more likely to give Chelsea what Chelsea need in this position. So what will he do in this position? So one thing that he will do in this position is actually look to attack that space. That space, when the winger has the ball, he will be the first player to actually look to attack that space, looking to try to make that underlapping run, receive the ball in this position. Once he receives the ball in this position, he can either make a 6-yard cross in that position for the striker, or he can make a simple cutback that can actually be attacked by the other number 8 or the other number 10. And that is what makes a great facet about his game, and that is his ability to make those underlapping runs. Another thing of why Dewsbury-Hall is so important in this system is because of his passing. In this position, he's able to spot the wingers making runs, and he's able to play that penetrative pass into the half space for the runs of a winger who's making that out to in run. And this can position players such as Mykhailo Mudryk and Raheem Sterling in positions where they're able to actually score goals and actually attack the box in a much deadly and fast and quick manner. Another thing that Dewsbury-Hall offers in this position is that when the team is actually building through one side, he's able to occupy this position in between the center back and the fullback, drawing in a fullback in and actually making the opposition defense team to be narrow, opening wide spaces in the wide areas for the wingers who's holding the width. And therefore, if you switch the play quick enough, you can have players such as Raheem Sterling having an easy run through on goal, and where they can actually look to effect the game from that position. Dewsbury-Hall's position also enables him to know when to drop deep, to know when to allow the winger to cut in and the fullback to overlap. And this can also help him because he also knows how to play as a number 8. He can actually look to play these balls together with the wingers, the fullbacks, and actually look to create those side overloads, especially opening Chelsea's left-hand flank, which was not quite instrumental. Dewsbury-Hall is also quite important in making those crosses over the top. He's also good at playing those balls in the far post area, where runners such as Noni Madueke and Cole Palmer can actually be looking to try and overload and attack that place. The thing that fascinates me about this player is that he actually opens the left corridor for Chelsea, making Chelsea even more unpredictable. Now, without the ball, Dewsbury-Hall is very important. He's a player who knows how to actually attack this space, actually looking to try and create overloads in this position. Now look at Dewsbury-Hall. He has actually stepped from his midfield position and he has actually joined the striker in pressing the centre backs. He's a very good player out of possession, knowing when to step out and actually look to press the centre backs. Again, you can see he's actually the number 10 who likes to spring out and look to press the centre back. So this can actually give Chelsea dynamism. And if he plays with Cole Palmer or with Jackson, he knows how to actually manipulate this position and actually create more problems for the opponents. Now, Dewsbury-Hall in this position, his main aim is to actually cover the centre back, ensure that the centre back is denied any time and space on the ball. Or alternatively, he can actually even use his cover shadow to actually try and cover the fullback. Dewsbury-Hall in this position, he knows when to actually drop deep to receive the ball when the team is defending, and he's also a number 8, so he can actually play alongside a player such as Caicedo when the team is defending, allowing Cole Palmer to join the striker. And this is what makes him even so more important. He plays somehow like Ilkay Gundogan. He's a similar player to Ilkay Gundogan. And also when you look at him, he's also quite swift when the team is actually transitioning from defense to attack. So he's a player who knows how to actually position himself for the counter attack. So he's actually a very dynamic player in that kind of position. Looking at Leicester looking to try to build from the back, you can see the goalkeeper has stepped out and the team is actually building from the back. But I want you to see the position of Dewsbury-Hall. Dewsbury-Hall drops from the left half space position. He's already pulling a fullback out, and now the fullback is left in a 2v1 situation, whether he should come and cover Dewsbury-Hall. But once he's dropping deep to cover Dewsbury-Hall, now you can see the space has been opened in the back line, and now Leicester are easily being able to play through the opposition. Because remember, Dewsbury-Hall positions himself in a position whereby the fullback has to drop deep to cover him. But once he drops deep, he actually creates those problems. Now look at his stats. You can see he's in the 90th percentile in terms of shot creating, dots, non-penalty XG, progressive passes, and pass completion rate, meaning that this is a player who's very much involved in picking up spaces and in the attacking areas of the pitch, though his defensive numbers are low because he actually does not play in much deeper positions. Now, this is a player who's very fashioned with creativity. He's a player who knows how to drop deep. He's a player who likes to drop deep and receive the ball in pockets of space, and that is what makes him so special. He's also a player who's quite dynamic. He's a good hard worker off the ball. He knows how to tackle and actually look to create chances for his teammates. Dewsbury-Hall is also quite dynamic when it comes to actually looking to make those crosses. Remember, he likes to make crosses in that left corridor. He's very dynamic in that position, and he also works extremely hard for the team. And this is what makes him a very interesting asset for Enzo Maresca. His role in this team will be actually to occupy that left half space channel. His main role is actually to make those forward dynamic runs, to be positioning himself in a position where he can be able to receive cutbacks, and we are more likely to see the left hand flank opening up. Remember, this is a player who will be making underlapping crosses, meaning that he's making crosses in that left hand side channel. So once he plays in that position, you expect Chelsea's left-hand side to be much more dynamic, and also he's also a player who can cross from this position in field and actually find the player in the far post area. Now, Dewsbury-Hall in this position can actually even shift out wide to play as a left winger, allowing the winger to cut in, especially him having that good understanding with a player such as Raheem Sterling, or having a good understanding with a player such as Mikhailo Mudryk can actually enable him to actually look to find these players in this position. Him taking up this in between the lines position frees up and takes a lot of pressure from Cole Palmer, because now opponents, rather than focusing on Cole Palmer, will now have another deadly weapon down the left. Now the opponents will not know whether to cover Chelsea's attack from the right or Chelsea's attack from the left, because now Chelsea is attacking from both areas. And as I told you, as I have done previous analysis, I explained to you the reason why Chelsea need to open up the left hand side. I've told you Chelsea's left hand attacking side has not been quite potent, because a lot of players have really relied on Palmer and the likes of Reece James and the likes of Gusto down the right. But now having Dewsbury-Hall down the left, you have a creative player down the left. You have a player who's able to link up with the left winger. We have now dynamism where centre backs can actually look to play penetrative passes there. He's also a player who's not afraid to shoot. He's a player who can shoot from all positions. His shot power is very great. He's a player who knows how to play that carefully weighted pass. He's able to play that carefully weighted pass, especially for players making runs. So if you have a player such as Jackson or Noni Madueke or Mudryk who's making those runs, you expect Dewsbury-Hall to be able to find them with those passes. He's also good at playing those free kicks down the left-hand corridor, and he's also quite press resistant in this position. He knows how to hold on to the ball. He knows how to pick the ball in those pockets of space. He knows how to actually look to try and engage himself in this position. So Enzo Maresca has actually solved one problem that he had at Chelsea's attack, because he now has a player who will occupy that left half space position. So Dewsbury-Hall occupying the left half space position and Cole Palmer occupying the right half space position is also going to pose a lot of questions to certain players. What will be the position of Christopher Nkunku? What will happen to Kani Chukwuemeka? What will happen to Cole Palmer? Because you need to understand that this player is coming into play as another number 10 in this system. Now there'll be a lot of questions about these players, and I'm going to do an in-depth analysis of which player will actually be affected most with the position of Dewsbury-Hall, and actually how Chelsea will set themselves up with him. Because now understand that Chelsea will move to a 4-3-3, and the question is, will either Caicedo or Enzo or Lavia, one of them will have to sit on the bench so that you can play two attacking eights, that is Dewsbury-Hall and Cole Palmer? Or is Cole Palmer going to have to shift towards the right? These are the questions that a lot of fans are asking, and I'm looking forward to do a video to clearly and detailedly analyze which player will be affected in those kinds of situations. If you've enjoyed this analysis, do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.